show. Today we have McGregor Yates, also known as Mac. He is an admissions counselor at Xavier University in Ohio, where he has worked in many different roles, understanding all the resources and opportunities for students. And he is also a graduate from Xavier University. Mac has a strong history of the Jesuit community and how it has been instrumental and supportive to all students of faith. And he's also a graduate from Jesuit High School in Sacramento, California. Welcome to the show, Mac.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. So, Mac, I just wanted to just ask some random questions so our listeners get a little bit sense of who you are. So I'm going to give some real quick fire drill questions for you. Is that okay?
Sounds good, yeah.
Are fantastic. Okay, so favorite superhero?
I'm going to definitely have to say Spider-Man.
Favorite place to travel?
I definitely have always loved going to Yosemite.
Yosemite, California. Favorite beach?
Favorite beach? I have always enjoyed Venice Beach in Los Angeles.
Nice. What favorite food?
Favorite food? I'm definitely going to have to say pizza. I know that's probably a regular answer, but you just can't really go wrong with it.
No, especially if you put cheese in the crust. Yum, yum, yum.
That's so true.
Right? And then last question for you. Last thing that you did that made you, laugh nonstop?
Laugh nonstop? Man, I really don't know. It was definitely had to be like a movie or something, or just out at dinner with friends and something funny happened or whatnot. So, I wish I had a specific example of it, but I actually don't. I apologize.
Hey, but connection with friends is always a great time, right? No matter what.
That is so true.
That is very true. So now Xavier University is a campus who really believes in connection and connection for all students. So I know for some of our listeners, they may come from Jesuit high schools or not, may come from the Catholic faith or not. So can you talk about that exclusive environment that Xavier University has for students?
Yeah, definitely. So right off the bat, Xavier definitely is like an open arms campus in terms of situations like that. So we have a lot of different students that come from a lot of different faith backgrounds. We are a Jesuit Catholic University to begin with, and we do have a good chunk of our students that represent the Catholic faith, as well as like a couple different chapels on campus. But also, like in our own campus ministry, which is the Dorothy Day Center, we represent a lot of faiths there. So we have like a Muslim chaplain, a Jewish chaplain, as well as a Catholic chaplain. We hold a lot of different services for a lot of different faiths inside Xavier's campus, but also we do a good job of getting students to their own faith practices and their own temples or other places of worship around the city too. So we definitely recognize a lot of different faiths, even while being a Catholic Jesuit university.
Now, what makes Xavier stand out compared to other campuses, whether it's in Ohio, other Jesuits, or just colleges in general?
Definitely. So I think the one thing, you'll definitely hear this on campus, and a lot of people say this word almost to the point where it's kind of annoying, but the word community. And it's just, we do have a very tight-knit community in terms of not only just like community in general with like the student population and the staff and faculty, but also with our success team on like the academic and professional side. So you'll have a success team, whether that's a career development officer or, an academic advisor or a financial aid advisor who's going to be helping you along the way throughout your Xavier career. And then on top of that, you got your classmates, your dorm mates, anybody that you are involved with in terms of like clubs and service and whatnot. There's so many ways to dive in and get involved with the campus community right off the bat. And if you do that earlier on, that's honestly going to only pay off more as you go through your time at Xavier.
That is so true, because I remember I was visiting another campus, and then I was visiting this campus with another counselor who works close to Xavier University. And I said, can you talk to me about how Xavier is? And they could not stop talking about it. And the main theme, like you said, was community. That was something that was so big. And she sent kids over to Xavier for decades. So I think she knows what she's talking about, and you, of course. So for those students who have not been able to visit the campus, there's all these great, you visit, campuses are doing great jobs on virtual tours. But always, I'll hear students say, well, what's the vibe? What's the culture of the campus? So can you go a little bit beyond that besides the connection and the community there?
Yeah, definitely. So I would say the vibe and the culture on campus is, first and foremost, just getting involved. What I tell people, what I tell a lot of students that I gave tours to as a student and now as a admissions counselor as well, I tell a lot of people just get involved right off the bat. Whether it's getting involved with stuff that you did in high school, whether it's stuff that you might be interested in, or an intramural sport or service or whatnot, just getting involved right off the bat your freshman year. Towards the end of the year, if you keep that up, you'll get easily like 50 hellos walking through, campus or walking to the CAF or something like that. And if you keep that up throughout your time at Xavier, like I said, it's just going to pay off a whole lot. And there's just so much to get involved with, and that it really is just like the current vibe of what like the Xavier culture is. So people get involved. You meet people from a lot of different groups. There's rarely any like borders between, if any, between like, who you're hanging out with, whether it's like grade, where they're from, what dorm they live in, what they're involved in, what their major is. I mean, everybody kind of gets to know everybody on campus, which is really something that we're proud to have as alumni, staff, students, and faculty on our campus.
Oh, I love hearing about that, and because I think that's one of the key elements about that college experience. Now, some students may be the first in their family going to college, or they may feel like, well, I'm the only one, or may just be really shy. How does the Xavier community, like I know if I decide to be active, of open doors, but what helps encourage students to walk through those doors or be aware of them just in case they feel a little bit lost at the Xavier community?
Yeah, definitely. So that happens kind of on two parts. One, our freshman orientation, Manresa, which is actually like a 4-day orientation leading up until the first day of classes, actually gives you a huge introduction with a small group and also 2 upperclassmen leaders that kind of guide you through the resources and all the opportunities within Xavier's campus, as well as just getting you familiar with campus itself physically. And then on the other part of that, you also have your success coach. So your success coach is going to be checking in on you, like mostly your freshman, sophomore year, just making sure that you're reaping all the benefits you can out of the Xavier education, getting involved and staying on task and whatnot. But yeah, honestly, I think the main part is you're just going to have a lot of peers as well as like upperclassmen that are going to encourage you, like, oh, you should try this, or you should do this service opportunity, or you should get involved in this club, or you should do this spiritual retreat or anything like that. There's just a lot of encouragement, which just kind of goes back to that community feel. Like people are looking out for you. People want to see you succeed within your Xavier career, but also in your professional career as well.
I love how you put that you guys have a success coach. You always hear about freshman advisor, but I love that title, success coach. Is that a student or actually a professor or someone who's just trained in that area?
So, yeah, that's actually just a staff member, and that's besides their academic advisor. They have an academic advisor who's going to be a tenured professor within their field of study, but the success coach is a completely different person who's just a staff member who's trained in that sense of just like making sure that you're, really taking all that you can from Xavier in terms of an education, but also just with its opportunities that it's given, as well as just, progressing you through your Xavier career.
Well, I want a success coach. That doesn't matter how old I am.
They would help in a lot of other places for sure.
I bet. So the other part is the academic part of college is really essential as well. So what are some projects that are done in the classroom that maybe some name dropper items that they could bring to a job interview or on their resume?
Yeah, so when I looked over this question, the first thing that came to mind is when I was a student, I was actually in like one of the first rounds of kind of an experiential classroom setting where we actually, it was a sales class for marketing, and we actually got to sell tickets locally to people for our SC Cincinnati team. So we got to sell those tickets to a lot of local families, and we actually competed against University of Cincinnati in terms of sales. And then in the end, we actually ended up winning and getting to go to one of those games, which is really cool. And we helped FC Cincinnati. They helped us as well in terms of just giving us some real sales experience, whether it's over the phone or through email or just our own personal connections. So that was definitely something that I used with a couple, internship interviews and whatnot. But yeah, that was definitely something that was, for me personally, just in terms of a classroom setting, but like experiential learning, which ended up, becoming something that I could put on a resume and really talk about in terms of real experience.
So it sounds like the professors make sure that you have real life experiences that other people can relate to beyond a textbook.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, I think experiential learning is pretty much the future for a lot of these types of classes. Because, I mean, you're actually getting in the field and, you can do, role playing as much as you want for like a sales class or another type of classroom or even a different major. But I think actually getting your hands a little bit dirty and getting out there with the experiential learning is just so fruitful. And then in the end, if anything, it's something that you can put on your resume.
Yeah, you're 1,000,000% correct about that. So how does your Career Center help our students in this 21st century market right now to help elevate them to find those amazing career prospects?
Yeah, so there's a lot of different things they do, whether it's resume building, mock interviews, mock phone interviews, if you have one of those coming up. But also, they're obviously not going to give you like straight up internships or jobs or anything like that. But when you first sit down for that interview, if you've gone through the Career Development Center and really taken advantage of the helpful things that they offer the students, when you sit down for that first interview, you're definitely going to be really prepared. Whether it's through your resume or how you conduct yourself through the interview. They also have a lot of networking opportunities that they offer students, whether it's like a career fair or like a meeting the firms or something like that. And that's not just for business students, that's for any students. So the Career Development Center can be used by our nursing students, our pre-med students, even our theater students, as well as like social work or anything like that. So it's not one major specific as well.
No, I love that. My college definitely did not help me with all the very interesting different type of interview questions I've had through the years. So, yeah, so that's so important. Now, one thing is that students sometimes miss out is that they'll look at the price tag of a college or university out there, and they're like, oh, I can't afford it. And they just walk away. That's one of my things that makes me so sad when it happens. So can you tell our listeners about the financial aid and scholarship opportunities? Because, there may be some families who are looking, for that great price tag, right? Whether it be for merit scholarships or need-based grants or anything else that's unique that Xavier offers.
Of course, yeah. So right off the bat, 100% of our students do receive a merit-based scholarship, and that's just based off your academic performance in high school. So right off the bat, that knocks down that market price for us, which definitely helps students to begin with. And then beyond that, we definitely encourage students to fill out the FAFSA just to see what kind of federal aid they're able to get. And then beyond that, there's also competitive scholarships that students can apply for. And then after that, the next step would be we as admissions counselors definitely recommend students, look for those private scholarships because those are outside of, Xavier's merit-based scholarships. So any private scholarships that you're awarded, those can stack up on top of your already awarded merit-based scholarship, which is really nice. And private scholarships can be found online a lot of times, whether it's through like an essay or whatnot, but also like in your local community. So if it's a local church, local job, local community organization that is offering like a private scholarship, definitely take a look at those and apply for them because it never hurts to apply to any of those private scholarships.
No, I had a student do a GoFundMe account. It's like, I only got $1,000. I'm like, yeah, that's $1,000 more than you didn't have before. So everything does help. True. It helps so much. It does. Now, the other question that's going through a lot of students' minds is considering everything that's happening with SAT and ACT across the globe, what is your campus looking at specifically on students' applications, whether it be for the fall, for this upcoming fall or down the road as well?
So right now, what we really look at is, obviously like the essay and counselor teacher recommendations and the transcript. Those are the things that we do take